we again. Sit back, relax, we got the brain of band. No need to stress in the house, is Van Bellen. The game is windsurfing, you can't yell them or tell them. We get the news, the views, the win biz. The brand's Garrix plus the world's best quiz. Cars PWA. We're professionals without the pay. There's nothing in pole dancing that we won't chat. From tandem boards to a windsurfing cat. It's your one-stop shop for a laugh and listen. Tune in each week or you'll be doing the missing.
We're back. We're back.
Benny, we're here, mate.
Okay.
How is everybody?
Yes. Well, it's been a while. It's been like over a month since we've done a podcast, and a lot has been happening. I have definitely been a busy boy. For people who haven't tuned into the podcast before, Mr. Paul Van Bellen, over in Australia, Western Australia. I am obviously here in Pozo for the World Cup. It's a bit of a dodgy setup. I've just moved into an apartment. It's quite echoey, but I do have a lovely view over the sea. And we've got news coming in. So last minute podcast, lots going on. Ask your questions. If you've got any Pozo related questions, ask them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them because the World Cup starts tomorrow. We've heard big news of, Ricardo Campello getting sponsored by a top DJ. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about injury updates. We've obviously got Slalom X started. I was going to make another video before the competition. I've run out of time. So we're doing a podcast. You lucky, lucky people. Paul.
We're back. We're back, Benny. I wasn't sure this was ever going to happen again. You're
I've been
a busy
hectic
man these days.
I've been hectic. We've been, I haven't had time to breathe, let alone do anything else. But we are definitely here. Well, I will start off by saying, have you got any questions about Pozo? Because obviously I'm here. And sometimes when you're here in the space and it's all happening around you, you forget when you're at home what it feels like. Now, I had that feeling when Chile was happening and I just craved information. I was just craving. And when you're there, I spoke to the guys and they're like, yeah, that's happening. I'm like, yeah, but I'm at home. I don't know any of this. It's like, tell us what's happening. So I am here to try and do that. So what questions have you got? Hit me up. I'm going to try and answer them.
Well, the first question I've got is, have you gone for a sail yet?
I actually have. I went sailing yesterday. I've been sailing a few times. I haven't been sailing a lot. I won't lie. I've been super busy trying to do the videos and film other people and whatever, but I have been sailing. It's, I'm a relatively good sailor. I like to think I'm quite a good sailor. I've got some moves on me. I tell you what, the level at the moment here of everyone pushing so hard is pretty insane. You've got the young 15-year-old kids going for doubles. You've got pretty much every man and his dog going for doubles. So I will say, if you are booking a trip to Pozo and you're not interested in the guys that compete in the World Cup, don't come to Pozo now because you will get this warped sense of how busy it is, because obviously you can imagine just before the World Cup, everyone is just absolutely in psycho mode. They've got the blinkers on. It's not a massive beach where down by the bunker. If you've seen my POV video, it kind of gives you an idea. Downwind, where the low, when it's small, the waves are there. It's hectic. You've got Liam Dunkerbeck, Marino Gill. They take up 8 people's spots because they're just so fast and so hectic and going big. And yeah, it's pretty insane. So let's answer some big questions. Come on, hit me.
Well, I'm just looking at some of the comments here. The conditions, the contest starts tomorrow, right? What are we looking at?
The contest starts tomorrow. I won't lie. If I'm looking at the forecast, it isn't as good as it's been, but there is some hope. Can you see that?
Yep.
Yes. So that's Wind Guru. Friday, obviously. This next 2 days, it starts tomorrow. So Saturday, Sunday, there is wind, but it looks lighter. I am looking at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There's waves there. You can see 1.8, 1.7. This is decent waves.
Right.
It's, you will get more wind than it's forecasting here, but it won't be 3-3 weather. You know, we're not, unless it changes. With this forecast at the moment, you're looking at 4-2, maybe.
Oh, that forecast has improved from a few days ago.
Yeah, it also depends on which model you look at, how your settings are. But the forecast, I mean, there's wind all week. There's a few lighter days, but we've obviously got the Slalom X. It's a shame it's not a ballistic week. You know, sometimes when it's a ballistic week, this is purple. Yeah, you know, like full purple. So yeah. If I change to the other model, this one will probably look a bit better. Yeah, so you get a bit more breeze on this one.
Yeah, but on the positive, you know, I checked it a few days ago and it was looking more around the 20-21 knot mark. So now it's gone up a bit.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
No, it still looks pretty good. It could be, you know, it could be more crazy, you know, for the ones who want to see absolute manic Pozo. But that could mean it opens the door for some other riders in the mix and different, you know, it's still 4-2 weather. You know, it's not like it's 5-0-5-3 weather. We're not, you know, big board. We're still in that windy sense. And there does look like there is some waves around. And that's like the key. If we get waves and that wind, all good. And it's been changing. Just
and so what's
an idea for people who have not been here. Weirdly, Wind Guru and the weather forecast we're getting at the moment, everyone who's been here a month, they've been saying that Wind Guru is like saying that much wind, and then when we get to the day, it goes up. So the next day is going up, and it just keeps keeps going up as they get to it. So even if it's forecasting lighter, it isn't going up. So yeah.
But after watching all your videos and some of the videos from the other guys putting up on YouTube, it seems to me that doubles are just now like doing a forward over there. You know, in the old days, you'd see back loops and forwards. Now it's push forwards and doubles. The doubles is kind of like the new forward.
Yeah, I mean,
it almost seems that way, doesn't it, with the pros?
Doubles have been kind of on the menu for a lot of people for a long time, but it does feel like the younger kids now, because they've just seen them happen so often, it's becoming like that thing where, oh yeah, well, we've got to do a double, you know, that's going to change a whole lot, I think. So you're going to see more doubles in the competition, but I have seen it before where people are training doubles in the practice and then they get into the competition, they can't find the ramp and it kind of ruins their whole heat looking for this double or whatever it might be. Again, some people, you've got to get it really consistent because you don't always get the perfect opportunity in your heat. But it can be that heat winning move, which gives you those extra couple of points. But what will happen is, again, we haven't been told this, but I know what will happen. Once more and more people do doubles, the landings will be way more critically marked. And we've seen that over the last couple of years. So, you know, unless you're landing it absolutely perfect, it's probably not going to score as highly as it did a few years ago. And that can hurt when it's took you a while to get your doubles finally, and then you land a pretty decent one and it's like a 6 and you're like, a 6? Is that it? Or a 5? And you're like, you can see people.
Yeah. No, it's pretty insane, the level. And I mean, we have to touch on it, I think, before we move on. But Ricardo, obviously the thumbnail on this whole podcast is Ricardo's sponsor.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting.
So, Martin Garrix.
Yeah. So backstory. Obviously, if you've been following the videos, you will know. But it's been the main story of this Pozo World Cup. Even before this World Cup started a few months ago, he was already saying, I want to come. You know, he hasn't done Chile, he hasn't done Japan, so he's not done any of the World Tour. He lost Nash as a sponsor at the end of last year. He hasn't had a new one. He hasn't sailed for 7 months or something like that. You know, he missed out on the World Championship last year. You know, that was a big one. Missed out on being world champion. So then had all this time off. You know, didn't get the sponsor. I'm not sure. He probably got offers. Let's just put it out there. He probably got offers, but they weren't the offers that he would want to take. You know, because costs a lot of money traveling around the world. You're not just going to take equipment and a bit of budget. He needs, you know, a half decent budget, some good equipment. So he hadn't found a sponsor to do that. And then I think he's been sitting, watching Chile, watching Japan, just going, there's no way I'm not going to Pozo. So then he puts it out there on social media. okay, who wants to support me, you know, to come to Pozo? I want to come to Pozo. Any sponsors out there? And I had so many emails from people telling me, Ben, we need to crowdfund this. We need to donate, you know, we need to get this guy here, which just goes to show how much people enjoy watching him sail, and the attitude and that style he kind of brings to a competition. And I said to most people, I said, look, he's going to be there. I was like, you know, you can do what you want, but he's going to be there. By any stretch, I'm pretty sure he would have been here. But obviously, a few people saw this and obviously contacted him. The big one, and obviously the one, I actually heard this a few weeks ago, and I'd asked him, and he denied it. And I was like, oh, maybe my sources are wrong. And then he obviously announced it yesterday. Martin Garrix, who has been like, I think he's been voted, I think you said earlier, like 3 times the best DJ in the world. You know, he's got Animals, which is one of his first things he ever produced when he was like 16 years old or something. It's got 1.7 billion views on YouTube. He's got 15 million followers on Instagram. You know, he's a top DJ. If you play Animals or something like this, and you say you've never heard of him, you will have heard the song. You know, maybe you're not into that genre of music, but I'm pretty sure there's quite a lot of his tracks that you would have heard. Now, he is a keen windsurfer. I've you know, reposted some of his stuff on Instagram. I've actually done some Send It Sundays with him in windsurfing. I should have actually found that clip. Sorry, it was a bit of last minute. So he is a keen windsurfer. And actually, Ricardo's met him before because there's some links, I think, with Brouwersdam, Rick Genderush, who was a freestyle windsurfer. You know, obviously he's Dutch, and he's been obviously windsurfing at Brouwersdam. And there's some connection there. I think he met Sarah Keeter as well. But he basically, as far as I understand it, rung him up, said, look, go, we will support it. So he's chipped in a bit of cash to support him for this event, only for this event at the moment. So Martin Garrix, he's got this massive sticker on the sail. And I kind of thought, well, maybe that was like just a promotion for this thing happening. And I asked him earlier, I said, is that just like the promotion? He said, no, I'm doing the whole event with that sticker on the sail, you know, on the sails. So that's pretty epic. But it doesn't stop there. He's also got, I think, Insta360. So the 360 cameras that I've been using, they've chipped in some money as well. Obviously, he's supported by Brunotti still. So there's maybe a link with the Dutch and, you know, Brunotti clothing and stuff. So he's still sponsored by them. And I think the property company here, he did actually send me the link to it. Is it Property St. Moritz? Oh, it's St. Moritz. Oh my God. Okay. So St. Moritz is in Switzerland. That's that really high end. Like when you go to the Ingrid and Win, Switzerland, it's like
St. Moritz. Yeah, I know.
It's got the
like
James Bond. They all go snowboarding there and stuff. So there's a property company, there's PPM St. Moritz Property Management Company. I think obviously have bought this. It must be a connection with Dunkerbeck actually, because Dunkerbeck was sailing under a Swiss number. I'm putting it together literally live, so I apologize. But there's a building here, new building that's been built. Dunkerbeck has got the bottom floor for Dunkerbeck Windsurfing. I think it's going to be a rental center and stuff's happening. I'm not quite sure of the whole program, but I saw Dunkerbeck and then Ricardo staying on the top floor and looks pretty pimp. So he's obviously
the penthouse.
So yeah. So he's not.
So Ricardo, a few weeks ago.
And wait a minute, I've just got to finish.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I haven't quite finished because he's also been looking for an equipment sponsor. So since he's been here, he has been riding all the different brands he can get his hands on and going out. And that's been the mad thing to watch, like absolutely mad. I don't think there's really anyone in the world that could do that. Not sail for 7 months, turn up to Pozo, grab a sail, go out, push forwards, doubles, you know, next afternoon session, grab another sail, totally different pull, you know, feel, go out, do the same thing. He did that like with 6 or 7 different sails. And then he has actually secured a sponsorship before he did, I think, this testing. There's no official announcement, but it's pretty obvious because his stickers are on a Neil Pride sail. So I think we can safely say it's Neil Pride. So he's going to be using his own boards, which I think he's resprayed with the Venezuelan flag, as far as I can understand. And then he's going to be using
Nash ones, yeah,
sails with the Martin Garrix stickers and the other stuff. So it's kind of made it like quite a cool story, I have to say.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that a few weeks ago he had seemingly no sponsors, and within 2 weeks he's the highest paid windsurfer in the world.
I'm sure he's done pretty well
out
at this event. No, I'm pretty sure. If you look at all those sponsors, you're thinking, well, he's got to have done all right, and he should do, because he has brought the attention. You know, he has been, for me, doing the training diaries. For people who don't know, you know, I make these update videos from Pozo to build up the event and get the hype ready. And it's been the major story, you know, really interesting seeing him going out on sales. Obviously, I've spoke to him about certain sales he's been on. Interesting views on some big brands. And there is a rumor he's going to make a video.
Tell us, Benny, tell us.
I can't tell you because that's his thing to tell.
Oh, what?
Well,
okay.
But I can tell you, he went on the Simmer sale. I'm obviously sponsored by Simmer, and he liked it. So the rotation was good. He liked it. I mean, I can't go into detail because, like I said, I think it's wrong because he's going to bring out a video, I think. But it's interesting. It is interesting, I think.
Yep.
And again, these are just his personal feelings. Doesn't mean a sale's good or bad, but it's interesting to get feedback from these top guys and why they like it, because, you know, it might be different for everyone out there. Everyone has different things they need out of equipment.
Yeah,
and he's got certain things that he needs and he likes. And I think it could be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of hoping. I mean, now that he's with Neil Pride, I'm hoping that he's not too biased, you know, related to Neil Pride, because I was really looking forward to seeing a video where he just compares all the brands that he tried without any connections to them. I think everyone would be interested in that. Yeah,
I can honestly tell you, knowing Ricardo, it won't make a difference. I swear.
Cool.
I asked him, I said, look, you know, you're not worried, small industry, you might burn some bridges if you say. He's like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. He's like, that's my thoughts.
No.
If you could trust anyone to give you straight facts, you know, and shoot from the hip, it's Ricardo. That I have no doubt about.
Cool.
So in theory, with Neil Pride, you know, I did speak to the Neil Pride guys. I think they come in this week, and they would obviously, he's been on Neil Pride JP before, not on JP now, but the Neil Pride deal. And again, I'm not just saying this because he's obviously going to announce these things officially. But when you put the big Martin Garrix sticker on a Neil Pride sale, I think pretty much, you know, people understand where that's going. So but I mean, his first his first run on the Neil Pride, it was something like stall double, push forward, something. So you're like, yeah, right. It looks pretty comfortable on these things.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. And look, for anyone out there that doesn't know Martin Garrix, I mean, he's in the DJ world. You've got like there's like a DJ magazine top 100 list, which, you know, it's not for everyone's taste, because, you know, some of that is more of the popular style, but he's literally been number one for a number of years. And I mean, we're talking DJs that when they do, you know, they pull in $500,000 to do a 2-hour set. Like basically, you know what I mean? So like you do the numbers, you do a few of those a week. So it's pretty crazy that he's what do you call it? Sponsoring Ricardo. And, you know, we often talk about, you know, how can we make windsurfing more popular, or what can you do? And it might be as simple as just getting someone like that who has, you know, 15, 16 million followers to just throw a few posts up about how much they love windsurfing, and all of a sudden it's back in everyone's face again. So yeah, hopefully it's I don't know. See what happens with that.
What we need him to do is, like, you know, Band-Aid, when they did it for the starving Africans. You know, we might need Garrix to do some big windsurfing. The starving windsurfing.
That'd be cool. Well, I was actually thinking, Martin, if you're watching this podcast, I'm organising a windsurf in Australia, and you know, there's going to be a party on a Saturday night. If you want to come down DJ, then be my guest. I could probably give you about $500, but maybe, yeah. But There's a question here from Thanos. Are you going to compete in the Masters?
Well, I have entered
Benny.
the Masters. I'll be honest, I haven't done much training, and Pozo is a very specific place. But I'm going to enter, you know, I'm at that stage where the ego is not so, but I'm still fucking competitive. I hate losing. So, you know, especially last year, I beat Dario last year, which I was super happy with. Like, to beat Dario here in Pozo, even if it was small as it was, and I got like a 360 right on the buzzer. So I was kind of like, yeah, I did myself like, I was like quite happy. It could easily go the other way.
That's awesome.
You know, when you're doing the commentary and it's all busy and you're not in the right frame of mind, it's super easy. And again, this trip was so nice. When I packed my bags to come to Pozo, you know, usually I've got like, you know, a few boards, 3 boards. I've got loads of sails. I've got booms, masts, because you need to rig all the sails to just in case, especially when I was, you know, commentating, because I needed to jump out for my heat and have everything ready and just grab the right one, which was also a disaster. But it wasn't. Now I've got like 1 boom, 2 masts, 1 extension, 1 board. So it's like, if it's wrong, it's going to be a bit of trouble. The good thing is Mr. Mark Paray's here, Alessio's here, Simmer teammates. I'm hoping, if there is a chance that I'm going to get out there, they might give us a hand, because I ended up on the rocks last time. For anyone who watched the live stream, I destroyed my fin and they had to give me another board, which that other board ended up giving me the win when I did the 360. So yeah, teamwork makes the dream work.
What's the schedule for? Because obviously we've got waves and the different divisions. There's the Super X.
Well,
so
not Super X.
You know, the next coming days.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Slalom,
sorry, Slalom X.
Slalom X.
Slalom X.
So again, I explained this on the video, but basically Slalom X should be high wind slalom, fin slalom, no foils, and they can chuck in extra things which could make it a beach start or a beach finish. They're not going to do that here in Pozo. There could be a little jump, which I don't know how they're going to use that. They might not use it. They can change the courses. It's just to give the race officer, the race director, some leeway, and so it's not a shock for the riders if they do mix it up. So it's to give more opportunities for the race off to mix it up, because before it was getting very, very stale. Some people might say they like that, that's fine, but they still can do normal high wind slalom. That you don't have to do all these extra stuff, as far as I understand it. They probably will, because you want to experiment, you want to see what works, and it's experimental year. So I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, I really wanted there to be the really windy stuff, which we've been having since I've been here. You know, Ricardo's been on a 4.0 every day, and that's big. Some people have been sailing 3.3s, 3.7s, 3.0s, and he's been on a 4.0. So, you know, if they'd have done the slalom in that, that's really what we were hoping for. Obviously, this will be more like 6.8, maybe even 7.8 weather. I don't know. Looking, you know, these boys can hold on to big stuff. But there's some fast guys here. And again, it's been a long time since we've had the top guys in the PWA racing head to head on the fin stuff. You know, the foil stuff, very technical, demanding mentally, but not as physical. Fin sailing, super physical. Like, I just did a race in Portugal the other day, and when I was on the full race stuff, it is demanding on your body, and it's quite flat in Portugal. Here, there's chop, there's everything, and we've already seen Tati Franz, Amado Vrieswijk, both got bad backs already, and that was before they even hit the water. This is just carrying the gear around the beach. So they haven't done it on the water. This is just lugging the stuff around. So we still, Tati seemed a bit better yesterday, but again, we'll have to wait and see. He didn't look, you know, it's not often you see Tati not smiling, and he wasn't quite his normal beamy self. Yeah. Frustrated. And I've had a bad back. That's kind of why I stopped competing at the top level. I went more intermediate because I had some big back problems, and it's, you know, I'm guessing this is just muscle or something, not super serious, I hope. And also Tobias Bjorner, one of the young kids, he's had a bad back for a week or so, hasn't been sailing. You know, he's super tall. He's kind of grown really fast, and he's been, you know, going for it hard. And I think that's took its toll. So his back's a little bit all spasmed up. So there's a few people going down with bad backs at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was a lot of pressure, you know, especially with the slalom guys, isn't it? And the height of the jumps and the landings and all this sort of stuff. But what is the schedule though, Benny? I mean, what's happening?
Any
Have we got
day,
a
at
competition
any point,
tomorrow?
they
Or?
can do anything. So the talk, I talked to the head judge, which is Pick, and he's talking, looking at the forecast, the first 2 days could be slalom. That's what it's looking more likely to be, because the waves come through later in the week, and that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, pretty.
Who have we got? Who have we got out there at the moment, Benny? Who's that?
It's pretty light. I don't know actually. I'll tell you what. Let me just try something. See if this works. It might not work, but maybe I can connect my phone, because I literally, one of the guys that was on our clinic, our Send It Academy in Cape Town, was living in this apartment that I'm in now, but he hurt his hand, so he's gone back for a couple of weeks back to Poland. And he says, Ben, do you want to stay in the apartment? It's going to be empty. So I'm in like the pimp apartment above Pozo Winds, one of the Pozo Winds apartments now. So I'm like living the dream. I'm it's like a whole new world. Like if I just showed you where we lived before, if I'd have done some sort of MTV Cribs, you'd have all had a shock. You'd be like, oh my God, this guy's living like a slumming it. Is that working?
Well, you're rubbing it. We're getting a bit of
yeah. Okay, but is that working?
Bit of noises.
I'm going to give you.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get rid of this comment. Oh, okay. Let me just hold on. Let me just remove this. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're going to give us a tour.
Oh, let's see how this works. Again, this is like for anyone who's watching audio only, I apologize because it's not really. There we go. Right. So
here we go. Look at this. Mate, look at this, Betty. Mate, you're pimping there, mate.
Boys.
That's a great view.
Yeah.
We can't hear you very well, Benny, but that's okay. We can see what's going on. You've got the microphone on the camera you're holding is turned off. It's off. You might have to come back inside, mate.
Yeah, maybe that didn't work.
Yeah, the microphone on that.
That didn't work.
Well, the microphone on that camera. Yeah, the microphone had it switched off. So, and now you're looking at me, Benny. So this is cool. But the apartment looks good, mate.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I was hoping that would be so. I should have practiced that.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We got the idea. So you're staying there by yourself, are you?
Well, Alfie's coming today.
Okay.
Alfie Hart's coming. We're going to do some daily videos and stuff throughout the week.
Yep. And what about Thanos is asking who improved the most? Is there someone there that you've been surprised at how they've developed?
Yes, I think Liam Dunkerbeck is
I saw that.
Super hard. Like I would say he's been one of the most improved. I think Marino Gill obviously came second last year, so it's hard to say he's improved, but he looks really on it. Like on it. Like people keep asking me who's my top three, who you think is going to be top three, and it's like it's hard to look at anyone other than Brazinho. Marcilio Brown won it last year, looks consistent as anything. Costa, because he's obviously back from injury now, and every time you see him sailing, just watch his videos. The guy is just an absolute machine. So you're like, they're sort of like the two. But then Marino Gill has realistically a very good chance to, on his day, he could take them down. Obviously in competition, you've got to sell your best. No one knows, Ricardo definitely on his day, depending on how things run. But when you look at the consistency, the wave moves, everything, for me, those three, I'd be back in for top three. Obviously, Ricardo's in there. Mark, is injured. Mark Parry's injured. There's other riders who could beat those guys if they have the right heat. But if they sail their best, yeah, those 3 and 4. Ricardo's that edgy one. You never know with Ricardo, but he's got the moves: push forward, stall doubles, wave moves. I think Ricardo, looking at the forecast, would probably want it windier, and that could make a bit of a difference. Again, who knows? All bets are a little bit off, but they're definitely standouts. And then there's a lot of guys sailing good, a lot of young guys pushing through. I haven't seen much from Carlos Kiefer. He's been at uni and stuff like that, but obviously a local. The local boys, Pons, Alessio, all these local boys can sail good.
What about the women? What's happening?
Women, update. Justina Schnatty, obviously there was talk of her breaking a foot. I haven't spoke to her in terms of is it broke or not, but reading in between the lines of her Instagram post, it's not broken, because I would have thought she'd say, okay, scans are back, it's broken. She hasn't said that. She said she's been working with some foot people, whether she can sail or not. Breaking it doesn't mean it's worse or better. Sometimes not breaking it is just as bad as breaking something. So she's obviously damaged her foot pretty bad. So will she be? Not sure. Sarah Keita obviously looks good because we've got to mention Daida Moreno, who's won this event for like the last 20 years, is not competing anymore. She's retired. Now, if you'd have asked me last year to make a bet, is she going to be back here in Pozo? I would have said yes. But still, I'm hearing she's not. And there was a rumor she's actually going away for the week. So she's not going to be here. And I think that's probably a wise move, because she's still got the level. Everyone I spoke to before I got here, she was sailing, she's pushing, she's sailing as good as ever. I still think she shouldn't have retired, but that's, I think she wanted to finish without losing, but she's still got the level 100% for winning this event. 100%, but apparently she's not competing. Yeah. So then you've got obviously Sarah Keita offering her. Lena Erpenstein, I mean, she looks really good. I backed her in my windsurfing fantasy team last year, and she still looks good. She's the one I see training the most, and that doesn't mean she's training more than anyone else, but I see her, and that usually means when you're mixed in with all the guys, one of the hardest things to do is stand out. And that goes with the guys and everyone. So, you're filming Marino Gill stands out. Like he's going faster, higher. He just stands out. Costa, Brasilio, they stand out. Ricardo, and when someone stands out, it's usually a good indication that they're sailing on a different level. And Lena, Sarah Keita, they stand out. Like you see them. So that's usually a good sign that they're sailing good. Obviously, she did well in Chile, won an event in Chile, so she's on a high from that. Could she win Pozo this year? Yeah, she could, definitely. Obviously, there's going to be other riders that are going to come into it in the men. But while you've got the rankings up for the men, and I said this to Morgan yesterday because I hadn't seen him. I was like, I had a bit of a shock when I was doing the training diary, and I was talking about Victor, and I thought, let's just bring up where he is in the rankings to give people context. And I was like, man, I forgot about Morgan. I said, I apologize, because it's like sometimes so long between events, you forget the guy's leading the world.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
And he hasn't been here. So you're like, wow, we're not used to that happening, because usually Pozo is the first event of the year. So it's kind of a bit messed up for me. I didn't go to Chile. I didn't go to Japan. So weirdly, it's like kind of threw me a little bit. And I was saying to him, what happened? How come you haven't been here? But what happened is he came early for the training, and he decided this year he was going to train for quite a good amount of time here and then go to France for a couple of weeks while everyone else turns up and does their thing. Because he's found in the past, when he comes here for a long time, he almost gets a bit pozoed out, and you can get psyched out with everyone. The sailing sometimes gets harder because there's so many people trying to do stuff. So, and a few people have talked about doing this sort of style before. So Morgan has done it this year. Come early, done his training, gone away. Saw him do a sick cheese roll, like shove it off the lip the other day back in the wave. That looked pretty cool, man. I hope he does one of them in the comps because that looked different. I liked it. Looked good. Victor Fernandez.
Well, that's probably a good. Yeah, I was just going to say it was a good move from Morgan to probably do that because it looked pretty hectic on the water. But the other interesting thing about this points is, obviously Morgan is technically leading, but Victor's only 85 points behind. Yeah. So it's
just look at Victor's record here. Victor's record here in Pozo is insane. The only problem is the guys, and this is no discredit to, like I said in the diaries the other day, Victor can definitely get podium here. But if it's push forward weather, this is where he misses those couple of extra points. He's not doing the push forward in the heats. This has counted against him in the previous years, which is why he hasn't had the results that he'd had before. Before he was, he'd always had the double, he always had all the moves, but the push forward has been one which he hasn't quite mastered like Ricardo has, for example. And that's a big difference. If you do, a big one-hand, one-footed backy, you still could end up 2 points behind or 3 points behind or 4 points behind, a sick push forward, which is a massive gap to build up on. There was a year where I said this in the preview, and then it came down to the competition, and he did a stall double and a tabletop double, and that counted as 2 massive jumps. I don't think you can do that now. I think they've changed the rules. I'll clarify that. But that kind of got him out of jail. But still, that push forward is his kind of bogey move, which doesn't help him. But the one thing Victor can do is he can turn waves here in Pozo into like 6-turn waves, which there's hardly anyone doing that. He's got such good flow, and some people get carried away when you're watching the training with the jumps and everything else, but the connecting waves, putting maneuvers down is very underrated here, and it's one of the hardest things to do. So Victor has that on his side, and that can be a big thing. That's where Marino Gill does well. His waves are good as well. His waves are really good. So yeah, Victor for sure. And like I said, he's sitting in second place at the moment.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting too, because you mentioned before the 4 guys that you thought were the standouts, was Brown, Gill, Costa, and who was the other one? There was 4, wasn't there?
Costa, Brown, Gill, and Ricardo.
Oh yeah, Ricardo, sorry. Obviously, Ricardo we can't see on this list, but it is going to be interesting to see how the results of this affect this whole leaderboard, because you'd expect obviously Costa to do well, and he's sitting down at close to 10,000 points, so he's still got a fair bit to go to catch up to the leaders, but he's going to have to do a good result here, otherwise he's going to be it's going to be hard for him.
Yeah, he's going for a win here. If you were betting, he's a pretty solid bet. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, you get 10,000 for a win, right? So, he'd be up to close to 20,000 points. So these guys here, I mean, if Zinho comes second or third, he's going to get 8,000 to 7,000 points. So he'll still be in the lead. But
you've got to remember there will be a discard at some point. As soon as you can get rid of the result,
I know.
Costa gets rid of a 17 probably, and then things start to become different. He wins one now. He has a first and a fourth. If you look at the results, that's pretty solid. And then it will be very close. So this event will definitely move it around a bit.
Yeah, for sure. I'll have a look. I'll just have a quick look at the women as well, because where are we? Yeah, can see what's happening here.
I mean, just to
Sarah Hauser.
I'm not mentioning every person who's got a chance of doing well, because there's lots of other people. Antoine Martin, we could go through loads. They've all got chances to do well. I'm just going for my top guys, just like who I think will be on the podium. Not to say other people can't be on the podium, but these are who are looking good at the moment.
Yeah, no, we get it. We get it. Sarah Hauser, she's not there. Is that right? Or
I don't think so. No, she won't be there. Maria Andres is not here.
yeah. Okay. Okay.
Maria
So
Morales
the women's will be interesting as well.
I've seen Maria. She's been sailing good. I've seen her do some stall forwards, some good hacks. Sato's not here. Obviously, Lena Erpenstein, she won that event in Chile. You know, a good result here puts you in a very good position. Alexia Kiefer, really good result in Chile. I thought she was going to win it, actually. She was ripping. And obviously, she's a local here. So she's got some moves. You can't count her out. Again, not noticed her so much on the water. That doesn't mean too much because she has got a back loop on her. She's got some good wave rides. Again, she's a local, so she's going to be putting down some moves. Sol de Greek, you know, young ripper. Pauline Katz has been sailing good here. There's quite a few locals pushing. You know, Justina Schnaddy, she's definitely been sailing good. The reason I haven't really mentioned it is because of that injury. You know, we don't know how that's going to affect her. But in terms of her sailing level, she looked really consistent when I've seen her push loops, back loop, 1 foot, some good wave rides. So, you know, there's definitely some interest in the women's fleet. Lisa Vermeister as well. She just got her first push loops yesterday. So she's been, you know, pushing hard. Still a youth.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Oh, well, it's going to set up for some exciting city heats. The Slalom X, obviously, this will be the very first racing of this one. We haven't had any. I mean, it's
first racing
we're almost
of the whole
in July.
Year.
Yeah,
like PWA racing of the year. You know, fin or foil. So starting off with fin, I saw Marotti got injured before the competition, so he's not going to be here. He was actually practicing, so he was looking forward to it, but crashed at the end of a session just a couple of days ago, I think, and he's done something to his hand or his wrist, so he won't be coming. The boys that have been out here, I saw, you know, Jordi Vonk looking pretty solid, Pierre Mortefon looking good. I heard Bruno Martini is absolutely flying. So keep your eye on the big Italian. He's always been a big advocate of the fin. Obviously, we've got Matteo Yuchino here, not really seen him sailing much because I've been out of sync with him. And again, that's the thing with Pozo. Sometimes you're just not in sync with people. So it doesn't mean they're not sailing. It doesn't mean they're not doing their stuff. It just means me personally, I'm out of sync in terms of when I'm filming and when I'm not. But I've seen him around. Yeah. Obviously, the women are here as well for Slalom X. You know, Blanca Alabau's here, Marion Mortefon. You know, all the girls are here as well. So I'm really looking forward to it because I told you, I'm a big fan of the, you know, fin sailing. I love the foil racing as well, but I think we have to keep the fin stuff going because it's just brutal, man. You've got to be so fit to be riding the fin in these conditions. You know, it's a real technical thing. You know, foiling has got all its followers and all that, and I totally get it. But, you know, high wind, proper windsurfing, for me, that's where it's at. That's like the pinnacle for me personally. Not to say it should be for everyone, but that's what I look at. You know, the guy who wins this, I'm like, you're my hero, man. That's the, you know.
Yeah. And you got to keep supporting fin as well, because at the end of the day, if you kill fin off, you're killing off windsurfing in general.
That's windsurfing. This is windsurfing, you know. I know when I first saw Geordie go out the other day and you see him coming back to the beach and the thing's just going, it just looked so good. Like, you know, and again, I've obviously a die-hard windsurfer from a long time and I've raced, you know, quite a lot of my life, even though I'm not the right shape for racing, but I enjoy racing. For me, the foiling's great, but it's just I'm not quite there yet. Me personally actually doing it, but the fin stuff, I love it. Love it.
So what's the format of the Slalom X for Pozo? They're obviously going to be doing a start, like a normal start out in the ocean, a finish on the ocean, but are they going to incorporate a jump or something?
So that's what they're talking about. Again, we don't totally know, but they're going to play around with the courses as well. So in the normal slalom, it's like fastest guy wins. You know, once you've got the good start, keep your jibes together, fastest guy wins. But they are talking about putting a little chicane in. So there will be a shorter jibe. So you're going to have to make your jibe good. and there's not that long before the next jibe. So the guys who are good at jibing will get their chance, which I think is good, because that does, like there's people like, let's say, Alexander Kuzan, he's not the biggest guy, but technically a very good sailor, and he's fast. He's just maybe not as fast as the Bruno Martinis. But you put in those jibes like this and makes stuff a little bit different, it's not going to be just out and out board speed. Obviously, there's an advantage if you're the fastest out there, but there will be an advantage if you're the best jiber out there too. So, then the combination of the two will be the one that wins the race. And obviously, you've got to race at the same time, get a good start, and then obviously there's they can put the sausage or whatever you want to call it in to jump over. I think it's pretty extreme racing here anyway. I don't think it's a necessary thing. I know everyone's wanting it. Me personally, I think it's cool to add it on the last reach or something like this as a bit of jeopardy before the end. Me as a commentator, it's like, okay, it's all over, but it's not. They've still, and it's an easy jump. For most of them, it's an easy jump. But when you're neck and neck racing for that fourth place or that position to get in the next round, and you can't slow down to time your jump, you've just got to hit it flat out. That is when these type of things will be interesting, and it will be skillful. It's not going to be luck. You will have to use your head and work out what's the best approach for it. Do you go upwind a bit? Do you, if it's in the hole, what do you do? Do you jump early? If it's on a, there's a few things to talk about. Obviously, then there's not going to be a jump on the first reach. That first reach is hectic, close, everyone's there. But when you get around the course, everyone's spread out. That sort of final little hurdle before the finish, or maybe on the reach before the finish, will add that little bit of, I think anyway. Again, until we race, we don't know.
With the forecast and nuking Pozo, does that suit some of the lighter guys, or you don't think it really matters at this level? The heavier guys just generally have an advantage in all winds.
No, I think when it's mega survival, crazy windy, the smaller guys also come back in with a chance, because it then becomes obviously a lot of technique. In the lighter winds, big sails, big boards, the bigger guys definitely have the advantage, or the taller guys with the leverage to a certain extent. The lighter guys, you don't really have a chance with board speed then. But the windier it gets, I feel like the smaller guys have more of a chance, which sounds counterintuitive, but in my experience of racing with the big boys, I'd much prefer it windier, because then it comes down to balls, technique, board handling, lots of other things come into play rather than just holding it down, and just fucking gunning. And I know, when Swifty used to race here, he's pretty same size as me. He's built like a tank, but he's short. And when it got really windy, that was when he had his best races. In the lighter stuff, he was getting just, smashed really for board speed. But when it got windier and he's on his smaller equipment, and things come into play then.
Do you think you have to have cam sail to win? I mean, and could you see the Slalom X where the no cam stuff comes into the picture, or you just think it's just
not like I said, I've got a kind of a video coming out like this on the channel, but for me personally, my sort of outcome after doing this race, I did it with mostly no cam. I went on twin cam, which I've got, and I went on a full race sail. And my kind of outcome is, yes, the race sail is better over the course. But I think as a sailor who doesn't race all the time, the race sail felt pretty hard going. It's a big lump of equipment. The no cam felt fun. I felt like I was just having just a blast. It was just a total different mindset. When I was on the race sail, I was racing. When I was on the no cam, I was racing, but I was kind of having fun racing. It was it was so weird, but that's also because I'm not used to a race sail. Lots of people might challenge that, but just fine. But I don't think, I would love to see no cam racing. I really would. Or I just think there's something in it. But the caveat to that is we had windy stuff. You know, the biggest sail I was on was like a 7.0. So, you know, in terms of slalom, it's kind of small weather. You know, I was on 6.6, 6.0 no cam, and that just felt fun. But me personally, after I'd finished this race, I thought, well, what if everyone's on a no cam sail? I think it opens the door for some discussions. Like, I don't know. I'd be interested to hear the full-on racers' take on it. Obviously, when you're getting into big sizes, because the race sail with the full cams all the way, you get the acceleration from the top. You go through the holes a bit better. It's solid. But, you know, out and out board speed, you know, it's more to do with the stability of the cams and holding the thing. But with that, you take a much bigger sail. With the no cam, you end up with a smaller sail. You can sheet out for the jibes. Doesn't really affect you. You know, when you sheet out with a cambered sail, it tries to push you in. So you've got to be like, you've got to be super aggressive, I found, with the race sail. But that's coming from me who, you know, picks up a race sail every so often. You know, it's not someone who sails it every day, which then maybe you just get used to it. But I really enjoyed the no cam, and I would love to do some no cam racing. I just think it's just so easy. Put the mast in, put the down on, you're ready to go. You know, it's a lot less.
Yeah. Well, it might be a format that's particularly good for non-pros as well, just in your local race, because you know, buying no cam equipment is obviously a bit cheaper generally and less, you know what I mean? Like less harder to deal with and water start and the whole thing. There's
definitely something in it, you know, and I think then you would feel maybe that the equipment advantage wouldn't be as much. So that's how I found it. Again, I'm willing to be open-minded with it, but for me, you know, if I'm not tuned into the race sail, you know, and tuned the cam tension and this and that and the mast and the downhaul exactly right, I find like a no cam sail, mine was just super easy to tune. I just shoved the downhaul on, you know, not too much outhaul, and it was just good to go. And that just felt nice, because I am not this very technical, sit there tweaking everything for weeks. You know, some people enjoy that, and that's fine. You know, that's kind of probably why I'm not super into the foiling. You know, I would love to be able to just be given the equipment that is set up and working. But the whole trimming stuff is a different sport for me. And again, it's not to have a go at people who enjoy that, because there's plenty of people who like that little details and the, you know, that's kind of it for them, that whole detailing. For me personally, I just want to go windsurfing. You know, I just want to have fun. I enjoy the race. I enjoy the competitive aspect of it. And I think there's a lot of people out there that would enjoy that as well.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of windsurfing, isn't it? It does cover a lot of bases for different interests. You know, if you want to get really technical, you can, and if you don't, you don't have to. And so no, it is good. There's Oscar is oh, sorry, you want to go into a different comment?
No, just saying, Matt says, do you think a regular rider would even be able to sail around on a small slalom board in Pozo, or no chance? I tell you what, it would be, again, depending on the day, because, you know, Pozo's a windy place, but today, you know, it's probably 6.0 weather on you know, for a normal person on a slalom board, you know, if a no cam sail, for example, it'd probably be kind of fun. On the windy days, pretty hectic. It's quite choppy down here, but there is is it Aranaga? I think the one further up where they teach the windsurfing, there is flatter spots just up the coast, which is where Dunkerbeck used to do some training. I know John Skye does some sailing up there as well. You know, they teach at Pozo Winds up there, and a couple of the other people teach there, but they do a lot of slalom blasting and freeride blasting up the coast.
Yeah, okay. There was a comment here that I wanted to get to. Just going back to the waves, Oscar's asking, can you tell us more about the waves format? Can you only do one double elimination?
Yeah, one double elimination as far as I'm aware, which if you look at how much they have to get through this week, it would be amazing if they make it through, because there is so many things happening. You've got the Slalom X, then you've got the, you know, the juniors, all the different youth categories, the masters. I mean, obviously those are lower priority than the World Cup. The men's and women's World Cup main fleet is the priority. The Slalom X is the priority. Those are the two priorities, and then everything else kind of fits in around it. So usually the better conditions will be used for the men's and women's. The lesser wave conditions will be used for the Masters youths, and depending on how it fits in. And then the Slalom X when there's no waves, in theory. That would be the situation. But there is a lot to do. It's going to be a mega busy week.
Yeah, cool. Thanks for that. And Matt has, just following on from his last comment, Ben, is it easier on a cam sail with a free race board or a no on a slalom board?
Is it easier with a cammed sail on a free race board? Well, it depends, I guess, on the sea state. But me personally, again, if you're talking a full race sail, me personally, I'd go for the no cam. Again, depending on what you're trying to get out of it. If you're trying to squeeze every bit out. But for me, just the fact that I was on a no cam sail with like a wave boom, like a narrow boom, just felt like a joy. You know, you're not going slow. Like, for example, I did a speed run next to the beach in Martinhouse, super flat, but I did like 38 knots. It was windy, like fully powered on 6.0. That's bloody quick. So it's, you know, you obviously don't have the stability of the cams, but when you rig the no cam sail on a you know, the fat mast, not the skinny mast, there is a bit more movement. So it is a little bit more a different way of sailing. But when you put the normal mast in, it kind of locks it a bit more. That felt super stable for me. Again, I'm still at the early stages of, and I haven't spent that much time on the race stuff, but I had to go on a Neil Pride, had to go on the Simmer, had to go on a few other race sails just to make sure that I kind of understand it. And it was just a whole different ball game, basically.
You know, if you wanted to encourage the no cam sailing, you could have a race where you have to, as part of the race, you have to rig your gear and then run into the water.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the no cam sail, you'd save about a minute.
No, but it's weird. Some of the boys are quick at rigging, you know, because with the no cam, the mast is actually quite hard to put in relatively compared to a cam sail. But then you don't have to put the cams on because of the loft curve.
Yeah. No, for sure. I was about to ask you another question, and it has I've totally it now. But so tomorrow we're on, though, Benny.
Yeah,
looks of it.
So yeah, we start tomorrow. Registration. Again, this is a bit of the reason doing the podcast. I'm not sure I'm going to have any time. Alfie's coming today, but I will try and do a walk around Pozo at some point. I think it's just worth having that video. I'll put it on the channel. And then obviously we're going to be live through the PWA YouTube channel. So if you're not subscribed to that, subscribe to that, because we're going to be going live every day, and I'm pretty sure we'll have action every day. The only thing that can kind of go wrong here in Pozo with the wind is if it goes too north, and then it sometimes gets this shut on type of deal. If you're here freestyle, it's not a problem. You can go up the coast. But if we're here in Pozo and it goes too north, it can do that. But I think we're going to be good. It's been changing around a bit, but we look okay. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Well, what do you reckon, Benny? Do we wrap it up?
Yeah, there we go. We've done an hour. Bloody hell, we've made it.
All right. We're doing well. But thanks for the update, Benny. Really look forward to the week ahead. And I'm actually obviously really looking forward to see what happens with the Slalom X.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I'm looking forward to it. That's the thing. I'm commentating, but I'm genuinely looking forward to it because it's kind of exciting for me.
Well, you're so good at it as well. You know, the racing stuff is actually quite exciting, isn't it? Because there's just constant action, and you know, sometimes there's lead changes and stuff. So from your point of view, it's probably quite fun. Is it?
The interesting bit is we haven't seen these guys go head to head. You know, a lot of them have got new sponsors. Pierre Mortefon, new sponsors. Maciej Rakowski, new sponsors. You know, plus people have got newer gear. So it's like we get to see, and there's a lot of people out there interested to see what gear's going good, which riders are going good. You know, we've seen it on the foil. We kind of know who's doing well, but in thin, windy slalom, we haven't seen it for a long time, and it's exciting. Yeah. And then you've got the wave on the side of that. So yeah, all good, all good. Stay tuned.
All right. Thanks for joining in, everybody, and look forward to listening to all your broadcasts, Benny. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Nice one. Thanks.
See you guys. Bye.
It's that time of the week again. Sit back, relax, we got the brain of band. No need to stress in the house, it's Van Bellen. The game is windsurfing, you can't yell them or tell them. We get the news, the views, the win biz. The brand's Garrix plus the world's best quiz. Carbs, PWA. We're professionals without the pay. There's nothing in pole dancing that we won't chat. From tandem boards to a windsurfing cat. It's your one-stop shop for a laugh and listen. Tune in each week or you'll be doing the missing.